Good morning. I'm Patricia Teffenhart, Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives with the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce, and I want to welcome all of you and thank you for joining us today. In the summer of 2020, like many other businesses, we realized that we had a responsibility to do more to create greater equity in our circle of influence, which is the New Jersey business community. As such, in partnership with the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey, we identified 5 priorities on which we could focus: corporate board diversity, workforce diversity, access to capital, corporate citizenship, and today's topic, supplier diversity. What we know is that we must change the way we all do business. We also know that some of the rules by which we've always played serve to advantage only a small number of businesses. But what we also know is that we all do better when we work together, and everyone in our community has greater opportunities for success. So making an investment of time and resources to create or strengthen internal commitment to supplier diversity is a great way to make an impact. And that's why we're here today, to give an opportunity to hear from diverse vendors, to put them in the spotlight so that you can reach out to them after this event. We'll also hear from some experts and colleagues in the field to help provide some thoughts and perspectives on the issue and offer some guidance on how to create meaningful supplier diversity initiatives. We're thankful to our sponsors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, and TD Bank. We couldn't do this without you. Today, we have an agenda with several moving parts, so I'm going to walk you through the outline for our time together. We'll start with a panel of colleagues from several statewide chambers of commerce before we transition into a series of spotlight sessions for diverse vendors. From there, we'll head into another panel discussion, 2 brief one-on-one discussions with subject matter experts, and round things out again with another spotlight on diverse vendors. So let's get started with our first panel, and please allow me to welcome my State Chamber colleague, Victoria Ade, Luis de la Holtz from the Statewide Hispanic Chamber, John Harmon from the African American Chamber of Commerce, Rajiv Krishna from the Asian Indian Chamber of Commerce, and Stephanie Locker from the New Jersey Pride Chamber. Colleagues, welcome. Let's jump right in. We have about 30 minutes for our discussion, so let's get started.
Good morning. Thank you, Patricia.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity.
Excellent. So we have, as I mentioned, a packed agenda, and we have 30 minutes to hear from my amazing colleagues doing great work across the state at other chambers. So we're going to start with the most basic question. One of the great things about this event is an opportunity to expand our networks. We have attendees who may be members of the African American Chamber. They may be colleagues of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber. They may not even know about or be members of the Pride Chamber or the Asian Indian Chamber. So this is a great opportunity for all of our audience members to understand the ways in which our chambers can help amplify our collective vision for a more equitable business community. So I'm going to start by asking the most basic question. Tell us a little bit about your chamber and your members. And I'm going to start with, I'm just going to go as I see you, John Harmon. Why don't you kick things off?
Well, good morning, and I want to thank you and everyone in attendance for being here today. You know, I founded the African American Chamber of Commerce of New Jersey some 15 years ago, and prior to which I was a chamber executive for 10 years, so I have 25 years. So the whole part of today's discussion is, it aligns directly with our mission. For that time span, we've been working to get Black people in New Jersey in a better place. New Jersey does not have the policy that incentivizes equitable inclusion in terms of workforce diversity, nor in supply chain diversity, nor on board seat diversity. And so that is the center, kind of the major focal point of who we are and what we represent. And then when the murder of George Floyd, that just took this to a whole nother level in terms of the non-value of Black people in New Jersey and America. And I'll say this, New Jersey is one of the most diverse states in America, but it is also one of the most non-inclusive states as it relates to getting people in a better life, in a better space so they can coexist more equitably. New Jersey also talks about diversity, talks about inclusion, but has not delivered from a policy perspective. And I'll say this, you know, Dr. King challenged America to live up to his creed that all men were created equal. And so I too say to New Jersey, live up to his creed to ensure that we live a more equitable life here in the state. So that's kind of what we're all about here. How do we coexist? We talk about entitlement spending. We know Blacks have the highest poverty, the highest unemployment in New Jersey. And I would submit to you, if we work in a very cohesive, focused, intentional fashion to mitigate those systemic challenges, we'll all have a better way here in New Jersey. And so I'll stop there, and that's what we're trying to achieve, not only today, but every day in New Jersey.
Thank you so much, John. Luis, I know that your chamber is also focused on equity all across the board when it comes to the business community. You want to share a little bit about where you guys are on this issue and a little bit about your chamber?
Yes, thank you. The good thing, speaking after John Harmon, is that I always be brief, not as smart as him, but at least brief. Now, we are the voice of over 140,000 Latino small business owners that contribute over 20 billion to the New Jersey economy. And we focus the work that we do on 4 pillars: access to capital, access to new markets, access to networks, and since the pandemic, the digital gap. And we are very fortunate that we have mentors like John Harmon that allow us to have better conversations and many conversations. And following him, we have been able to open the doors for the Veteran Chamber of Commerce, for the Pride Chamber of Commerce, and every door that gets open to us, we try to keep that door open and invite the other minority chambers to take advantage of those opportunities. The Latinos in New Jersey, this is a report released by Bank of America that the GDP from the Latinos who live in New Jersey is close to 100 billion a year. And that's why we believe that entrepreneurship is the best way for us to overcome poverty, and access to procurement opportunities would allow them to advance their business and grow their business.
Excellent. Thank you so much. So far, we're already hearing themes around mentoring and partnering and collaboration. I love this. Since Luis, you mentioned the Pride Chamber, I'm going to kick it over to Stephanie.
Thanks, Patricia, and thanks for having us here today. My name is Stephanie Locker. I oversee supplier diversity and certification for the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce. So our entire intention is to promote the economic growth and development of our members. And we do that by providing LGBT business enterprise certification, networking opportunities. We've developed a lot of educational and professional development resources. In addition to that, we just recently passed the executive order in May to now include LGBT businesses in the MIMBY program, because as of today, they're not currently in that program, which means that we're also not in a lot of the disparity studies. So we don't have a lot of the data that we need to do things like, get better access to grants or really understand the impact on our economy. So hopefully just by that executive order getting implemented by the beginning of 2023 is the target, we'll see a larger increase in the economic viability.
Excellent. Thank you. And Stephanie is a member of our chamber's Supplier Diversity Collaborative and has become really such an incredible resource for us at the state chamber. So I'm thankful that you are here and that we get to benefit from all of your knowledge and brilliance. And the Pride Chamber is really lucky to have you taking the lead on this issue. And Stephanie, I know through our shared interests on this panel around supplier diversity, you've also recently partnered and connected with Rajiv and his chamber. So Rajiv, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Asian Indian Chamber?
Thank you, Patricia, and good morning, everyone. It's nice to be on this panel. So, like John said, I've also been a founding member of our Asian Chamber of Commerce about 25 years ago, and been on the sidelines or been on the board. And we have done a lot of things to kind of help our local businesses, our ethnic businesses grow and thrive in New Jersey. But over the years, I've found as immigrants, especially the first generation immigrants from India, we carry the burden of our biases, our inherent fears, our inherent apprehensions. And as much as we are talented and are good business, have good business acumen, we fail to fully leverage the opportunities with the which this country offers and which New Jersey offers. And specifically, as a diverse supplier, we somehow have this mental block. We, meaning Indians, have this mental block that somehow if you are classified as a diverse or a minority supplier, it is somehow lessening your status, because we have these minority people in India who are considered quote unquote second-class citizens, and there's the natural tendency, natural bias not to be identified as a minority. And to get past that stigma of being called a minority, I think is huge in our community, at least as far as I see it. So one of the things we really want to do is bring awareness and education to our community in terms of what is supplier diversity. What does it mean when you're called a minority? What does it mean when you're called a diverse supplier? And make them aware of the opportunities available in this whole arena of doing business with corporate. A lot of my friends and colleagues who have certified themselves as being a minority are really doing amazing business. The other day, Terrence was telling us that he's got 1,300 businesses certified by NYNMSDC, and he says most of them are Asians or Pan-Asians. So people who have understood the value of being certified as a diverse supplier have jumped on board, but there is a whole segment of our community who just feels apprehensive about being called a minority and being certified as a minority. So our goal really is to help reach out to that community, educate them, make them aware, offer them certification, and hopefully they'll participate in the New Jersey economy. And I think Stephanie so we are having 8 breakfast events to bring this awareness. Once a month, every month for the next 6 months, or next 8 months, we're going to have an event. And Stephanie was our speaker at one of our first events, earlier this month. So that's really our goal. And I'm really glad to be on this panel, or glad to be a part of New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. And hopefully, we can make it happen.
Thank you so much, Rajiv. And Victoria, my colleague here at the State Chamber, tell us a little bit about the Chamber and a little bit about our role in all of this.
Sure. Thank you, Patricia. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. My name is Victoria Adi. I'm the Vice President of Member Services at the State Chamber. Little background about the State Chamber. The State Chamber is a 501c6 organization that functions both as a lobbying firm, actively advocating for legislative regulations and initiatives that support a pro-growth economy for the business community at large, but also functions as a place for our members to promote their business and network with other key business and political leaders from New Jersey. We don't really consider ourselves just one organization, which is really great, but more a conglomerate of businesses from various industries, all looking for opportunities really to meet their next client and promote their business in different regions of the state. I think for us, we see the challenges and opportunities as far as supplier diversity in 2 ways. We want to support the women, minority, LGBTQ, and veteran-owned businesses in our membership as they look to expand their networks, win bids and contracts, and increase their access to capital. But we also want everyone in our membership to be thinking more specifically about the ways they can increase their utilization of diverse vendors. So that's really where the State Chamber fits in all of this. And that's one of the reasons why we're just so thankful to be on this panel and to partner with all of these amazing multicultural chambers here, because we can only really more easily achieve our goals by working together. Thanks, Patricia.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Victoria. And thank you all of you for sharing a little bit. I think what we're highlighting here, hopefully, is that we can accomplish more if we work together, and that each of our chambers has both an expansive network and specific skills and expertise that can help us actually achieve greater equity when it comes to New Jersey's business community. We have about 15 minutes left for our discussion. So I want to sort of pivot into a little bit more about what are some of the specific current challenges and or opportunities that you and your members are experiencing as it relates to supplier diversity. And I think that this is critically important as we start framing out the rest of today's conversation, so that our colleagues who are listening can keep this in the back of their mind as they're listening to the rest of our guests today and thinking about ways that they can strategically work in collaboration with our efforts. So I'll start with Rajiv. Tell us, you've shared a little bit about some of the barriers that your members are experiencing when it comes to understanding the importance of certification, maybe even navigating the certification process. But I also know that there's a flip side. In the conversations you and I have had, we've talked a little bit about even the challenge of getting in the door to speak to someone in a procurement department at a major corporation. So I think that's probably a shared theme here between our colleagues from other chambers. Do you want to kick this off with a little bit of conversation about that?
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. What we find in our business community is that we are all, when you are in business, like I tell a lot of my friends that you're going to have the stresses of doing business, no matter what kind of business or at what level of business you're doing. So a lot of us are kind of bogged down in making ends meet, bogged down in running business, like we are used to running a small business, rather than really having the vision to kind of make the leap, make the transition into a larger business working with corporate suppliers. I mean, there is a certain amount of apprehension, certain amounts of self confidence lacking. So once they are able to see others, other similar businesses, other similar sized businesses, women-owned businesses, or minority businesses, or specific business industries, a lot of them feel that unless you are in construction or IT, you really do not have an opportunity to participate in doing business with a corporation. And my advice or my suggestion to them is that doesn't matter what business you are in, no, there is always an opportunity. So I think there are a lot of preconceived notions, I think, which are the biggest barrier which we are facing. There's the inherent lack of self-confidence. They're thinking that somehow, no, this is beyond their reach. To be able to do business with corporate is beyond their reach, and that they are not qualified. Their business is not qualified. And the other thing I tell them is that by reaching out, by being certified and reaching out to large companies, they will grow their own business. I mean, that is a very kind of an automatic byproduct of doing business with corporates, is that you learn to manage and grow and systemize your business in ways and manners where you'd never do it if you are not doing business with a large corporation. So that is my other pitch to my members, that look, if you really want to grow your business and become successful, not only at the top line, but also at the bottom line, you really need to transition your business. And one of the good ways to transition your business is to start reaching out to large corporations. And one way to be effective in reaching out to them is by being certified first. So it is a kind of a gradual step, but certification is a key step. So that's really where we are focused on right now.
Excellent. Thanks so much. John, I'm going to kick it to you because I'd like to have a conversation about the flip side. What happens when members reach out to corporations that have espoused a commitment to supplier diversity, and then they kind of get what we talk about a lot in our collaborative, which is like the runaround, right? It's very popular right now to say that you have a supplier diversity initiative, but what we're finding is that the actual execution of bids and contracts to diverse vendors is kind of lacking or lagging behind the verbalized commitment. Do you think that's accurate?
Well, we don't have that problem. What I mean by that, most of our members that we engage corporations are through a kind of a strategic partnership. We agree on expectations. We identify, vet members, and position them to vie for opportunities. And then we have an ongoing dialogue monthly to see where that member is in the process of doing business. So that's worked out well. Where we have problems is with some of our strategic partners when we make overtures public about what we're trying to do and we don't get it done. That's the real challenge we're having, to acknowledge that. Not just verbalize that diversity, equity, and inclusion is good for New Jersey, but actually go forward and implement it in a meaningful way. There are corporations that have a desire to be in this game and work more in partnership with Black businesses to deliver on that imperative that I alluded to about a more competitive New Jersey, by allowing businesses to compete for opportunity. This is not charity. So that's where we fall short. I mean, when I opened, I talked about, a declaration that Dr. King made, do what you say you're gonna do. And if we do that, I think we all win. But if you're not gonna do it, say it. And then people have choices to make about how to go forward. But our relationship with those who said they're going to do and engage, we've been rather successful. The challenge is getting folks to do what they said they're going to do. And there's still some outliers in that regard.
Great. Luis, do you want to take this one?
Yes, I mean, one of the challenges is that our business owners are expected to have experience and capacity. And there's no way that they can develop that without the opportunity to start at some point, right? You cannot get $1 million contract without being able to generate a $100,000 contract. And that's why what we try to do is to train our business owners in the ways that we can. Like the African American Chamber also offer the bonding training class, which is important because that allowed those individuals to get access to bonding in case that they are contracted with the government, right? Now, we find two different groups of corporations, those that make a statement saying that they want to be more diverse or that they want to open the procurement opportunities, and others that they don't necessarily express that interest, but they do it, right? The problem is if they don't communicate what they are doing, it's very hard to inspire others to do it. Like we recently have experience with John, Rafael Mar, and I, we get invited to Horizon Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And when a big corporation like that make a real commitment to improve the procurement process, that's when others get inspired and start looking at. And the other thing that we do when someone reach out to us and say, hey, we want to increase the diversity, can you provide us a list of businesses that are ready? You say, no, tell us what we're looking for. And when we provide those names, we will make sure that those businesses will have the support that is needed in order for them to be successful, right? And in some cases, what we do is, if we don't have anyone in our community, I mean, I have John Harmon on a speed dial, or Francisco Cortez, or Gus from the Pride Chamber, because we will find someone. We are not expecting, because look, we are Latinos, but we are also from African descent. We came in all shapes and colors, and we just want to have the opportunity as minorities, because that will inspire other members to do the same. This week, we have one member that is start working at the Newark Airport, and another member that is serving the Hispanic Fair in New Brunswick for the governor. Those are little examples, but the important thing is that they went through a process where they learned. Now they have more information regarding how that is possible. Now they can continue to grow in the amount to the point that they will be able to do big numbers in the future.
Excellent point. Stephanie, what about your chamber?
So I think our largest challenge is that on average with corporations, we see spend with LGBT businesses to be 1% or less. And then overall supplier diversity numbers are 10% or less. So to your point, execution, a lot of people are making really large claims and you just don't see it in the numbers. So there's definitely a lack of execution. And to what a lot of the other panelists here have said is that a lot of the conversations are around capacity building. So what we're trying to do as a chamber is work with our national organization when it comes to certification and ensure that there are capacity building programs, mentorships, financial literacy, and then also understanding the procurement pipeline from both sides. So working with our corporate partners on developing a more diverse pipeline, and then working with our members on how to get in that pipeline, because it is a really stressful process and it can be really confusing. But then also, I think we all need to start holding them a little bit more accountable, because the numbers are extremely low. So it's, it's almost like, how much are you actually trying, when your numbers are 1% or less? It's just kind of by default, it seems like.
So we have a lot of opportunity is basically what I'm hearing, right? That the opportunities are there. We have some processes that need to be fine-tuned, some accountability mechanisms that need to be put in place. And again, we have, a registered audience today of close to 100 people that I'm hoping they will find that this is a great opportunity to connect with each of your chambers, that if they are committed to supplier diversity, they need look no further then the memberships that exist behind each of you here today and start going through your membership to find opportunities to engage diverse vendors. So the last question before we close out this discussion, I did in the chat box put a link to each of your websites. Thanks, Louise. Is there any other information you'd like to leave with our audience around where they can find information about your chamber? Is there a particular point person that you'd encourage them to reach out to? We all know that kind of, having a direct person can get you greater access. We're all friends here. So Stephanie, I know you just ended, but I'll kick it over to you. Is there anything that you want to add as far as people reaching out and getting connected to the Pride Chamber?
Yeah, there's actually a database on our website that you can access as a corporation if you're looking to hire a diverse supplier. In addition to that, my email is also on the website. So feel free to reach out, whether you're an aspiring member, you're looking to come to a networking event. We're doing a financial literacy event in November, which is also on our events page as well. So love for you to reach out and hopefully I can provide more information.
Great. Thanks so much, Stephanie. John, I'll kick it to you. I see you're active in the chat box.
Yeah, I just put our contact information, suggest they reach out to Mary Griffin, handles membership relation. But I just want everyone to leave this conversation with, if we're talking about making New Jersey a more equitable state where folks could pursue their dreams and have a quality life, a good career, a good viable business, diversity, equity, inclusion is the best way to do it. And we just got to be serious about it, and we'll all win. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Rajiv.
So I think we have a brand new website, aicc.net, which really lists all our leadership members. We also have an email, diversity@aicc.net, where you can really reach out to the person in charge of our diversity program. She's a very enterprising, well-to-do business lady, and she's really brought a lot of energy to our chamber. And we also have these breakfast events, which are going to be held in. We're doing 3 of them in Middlesex County. We're going to do one in North Jersey by Jersey City, one in Princeton, one in New York, to basically spread the word out to our business community in the tri-state area that we exist. We are serious about this, and to reach out to us. We still don't have a database of our members on our website, but we plan to do that very quickly. We are picking ourselves up from the bootstraps, in spite of the fact we've been around all these years. We really have not come together as a focused group to do something long term. So I think supplier diversity is something we've kind of honed in on as our focus for the next few years. And you'll see our chamber getting ahead more. Also, I really want to reach out to the audience and see if you have any great speakers on the subject, which can help educate our members, help our members in understanding what supplier diversity is, and kind of motivate them to pursue that path. I would love to hear from you. You can reach out to diversity@aicc.net and send us your contact or email, and we'll be happy to reach out to you.
Thanks so much, Rajiv. Luis, I see that you were also active in the chat box. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I just shared the names of Danilo and Daniela from the chamber. They are the first contact. I mean, what I was trying to share is we are a network and on the chambers, and we just want an opportunity, right? Now, corporations always focus on products and services, but they don't pay attention to professional services. And we have accountants, we have marketers, we have graphic designers. We have a lot of professionals that can benefit from those procurement opportunities. We have a large database because we are the largest chamber based on membership, and we have the opportunity to have by industry, by location, by, that can facilitate the process with the corporation. But it's not that we are giving that database away. I mean, we just really want to make sure that the information is used for the right purpose, because otherwise, they can collect that information, they can report that they did an effort and nothing happened. No, we want to make sure, as I say, when John and I will refer a member, is because we know that that person can deliver what they promise. Remember, the only thing that we have is our reputation. If that person fail, we fail, or if that person succeed, we succeed. We want to make sure that our business model is focused on results, and we want to make sure that those individuals have enough support to deliver what they offer to the corporation in order for us to continue to get those calls and to continue to supply information to those corporations.
Thank you so much. Victoria, I'm going to let you round things out from our chamber's perspective.
Thank you. And thank you, Louise, for those comments. That I could actually tag along to that, because one of our goals at the State Chamber is to bring full circle awareness to the corporate partners, our corporate partners specifically, and to lead by example in our own partnerships to just show why diverse suppliers are so important for the creation of a more competitive and business-friendly New Jersey at the end of the day. And to do that, we really need to continue to highlight our chamber partners here today and the work that they're doing. On our website, I just shared the direct link to our membership directory, where all of our organizations within our membership are categorized by industry and professional services. And of course, we also encourage everybody to join our membership and or attend an event so that we network face-to-face together. I shared my email address also in the chat box.
Excellent. I want to thank each of you for being here today. I want to thank you for the work that you do on behalf of your members and on behalf of the state of New Jersey. I know that we at the State Chamber are incredibly thankful to have you as colleagues and partners, and I look forward to continuing our work together as we increase the availability for access to resources to be more equitably distributed. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye to all of you wonderful folks. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And look, now I can see all of your beautiful and handsome faces. It's so good to see all of you here today. Lily, thank you for rocking it out in the chat box, helping us make this event language accessible. I want to remind everyone that if you need to, you can hit the closed captioning option at the bottom of your screen to be, look, it's imperfect, right? It's a bot translating what we're saying, and we're speaking in really fast Jersey speak, but it is the technology that is available, and I'm appreciative that, again, all of these different tools and partnerships are helping us become more accessible. We're going to transition now into the next part of our agenda, which is putting diverse businesses in the spotlight. So at this point in time, I am going to come off of the screen, and we will put the spotlight on each of our diverse businesses that have accepted the opportunity to expand their network with each of you here today. I'm going to put in the chat box the questions each of our guests have been asked to answer during their 2-minute spotlight, just as a reminder for them, more than it is for the rest of us in the audience. I will not be facilitating a Q&A for this part of the conversation. It's almost like a free 2-minute commercial to some of the coolest business people in New Jersey. So with that, I'm going to ask that we put the spotlight on Brian Gant from Grant Engineering and Construction Group. Is Brian with us?
Patricia, I would just like to ask Grant to start his video feed and audio so we can give him the spotlight.
Technology in 2022. Maybe we'll come back to Brian. Brian, if you're having issues connecting or changing any of your settings, using the chat feature to the right, you can private message my colleague Rick Principato or Chris Lewicki. Both of them are available to help troubleshoot some of the back end tech part of this conversation. And so with that, then I think we should transition to Caroline from Health Enhanced Foods Incorporated. It's so good to see you again, Caroline. I haven't seen you in a little while.
Thank you so much. It's such a privilege to always be among the best of New Jersey businesses. My name is Caroline Ebelu. Health Enhanced Foods is our business, and we are in the business of making sure that as you become successful, that you will eat right. We are a specialty flour company, and we make specialty flours for people with special dietary needs. And we cater to those of you who, due to health choices or health challenges, you can no longer eat the pancake that you used to eat when you were younger. So we make specialty flours so that everyone can eat like their body wants it and the doctor demands it. Now, we are a woman-owned business. We are certified as a woman minority-owned business. We are located in Rockaway, New Jersey. We have, let's see, what is it, Victoria want us to, okay, so we are in New Jersey. Our website is healthproducts.com, and we are looking to bids in the area or contracts in the area of serving customers or people with special dietary needs: schools, prisons, food banks, hospitals, dialysis center. Our products are made so that somebody who is diabetic, who is epileptic, who is on dialysis can have exactly the kind of meal that they want. So those could be your family member, your workers, and those in prisons or like I said, in hospitals, food bank, and people deserve to have the right food. Now, we know that recently the USDA yesterday announced how they are funding nutrition. They have been funding nutrient-dense nutrition for the masses, so everyone can eat healthy. Health Enhanced Food is positioned so that we can supply what people need: keto-friendly flours, flours for the diabetic people, ethnic products. Our company literally takes American ingredients, translate it, combine it, blend it, and make products that serve people all over the world, and especially right here. So we are looking forward to participating as a company that can provide the nourishment that New Jerseyans need.
Thank you so much, Caroline. I have entered Caroline.
This is a part of example of what we produce, and we have different samples. So, if you inbox me, I'll send you a sample. You can go on our website and you get a sample of this.
Excellent. Everyone should go and do that. It is 9:48 in the morning, so that was the particularly good box to draw attention to. I am hungry. Thank you very much. I have another hour and a half of this conversation without being able to eat. Caroline, we wish you tons of success. We're so appreciative of you joining us today. I've entered your contact information into the chat box. And again, we'll also be sharing contact information for each of our diverse vendors as a follow-up to this conversation. Caroline, thank you for joining us.
You are welcome.
We're gonna move over to Gabriella Timothy from Learn Potential. Good morning, nice to see you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Gabriella. I'm the CEO and founder of Learn Potential. Learn Potential is an education consulting. We also do management consulting as well. We work with school systems, nonprofits, small businesses, government agencies, and our purpose is to equitably serve the diverse communities. I was an educator, and now I'm in the space of running and managing an education consulting education services business. We are located in Ewing, New Jersey. Our 1450 Parkside is our brand new office location, and it's also a learning center. So that was like our unorthodox way of blending what we do with schools and businesses, and then also providing a space for families to receive services, tutoring services, social emotional learning services. We also have a nonprofit, which is a Diverse Learner Foundation. So we're all about diversity as well. well. And through that, we do support students not only in the New Jersey area, we also work in Philadelphia, but we do work internationally as well. My background is from the islands, and I was born there, and so is my significant other. So we do a lot of work in an education realm, international as well. But through Learn Potential, we do professional and management training, we do strategic planning, we do online training in areas of DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, disabilities in the workplace. I was a special education teacher, so definitely that is always from student to adult. We do have resources for individuals with disabilities and also just diverse needs, whether it's linguistic needs or different cultural needs. Those are also the umbrella of diverse needs. So, excuse me, we do whatever we can to we do whatever we can to cater to those diverse needs. We do behavioral health and counseling services. We have a school counselor. She's also a woman. She's diverse as well. Her background is she's from India, and she's loves everything mental health and therapy, and she's our mental health consultant. So she provides a lot of the oversight in that area. And again, we do tutoring and social emotional services, educational support services, case management services as well. I am from Philadelphia, even though I live in the New Jersey area now. So a lot of my networks and connections are in the Philadelphia area. And I am also attending St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, and we're collaborating to work on a teacher apprentice program, because as many of us know, if you're parents, if you have children and so forth, the teacher shortage has been an ongoing issue in education, and we're all about solutions here. So we're teaming up with that university to really create a strategic plan on recruiting more not educators yet, but they will be, but more professionals to the education field, and training them, providing the necessary academic, the university of course will provide that academic training and prep, but the school districts will be hiring these teachers, and they'll have mentors and so forth while they're learning and growing in the field. So we're working together on some areas like that. And what we're looking for, what we're also continuously looking for is additional opportunities to do professional trainings, management trainings. If there's school districts or any education agencies on this call, then definitely like the teacher apprentice, that being a major solution in many ways to what workforce demands, and then also teacher shortages. If we're providing more of a pipeline for professionals who may just be looking for a new and empowering career field to be teachers and be in these classrooms and fill that need, that is a great I would love to support in those endeavors as well. Behavioral and health, mental health, counseling and services. So we do have counseling services. We provide it to our students at our learning center, and we also support other organizations with social emotional learning as well. And then, of course, tutoring and social emotional services. If you are in the education field or education agencies and you're looking to bring services and supports and tutors and interventions to your schools or your districts, then we do a lot of that work as well in Philadelphia, and we're definitely looking to bridge out in New Jersey as well. My email is info, info is, I have another one, my first and last name, but it's kind of long, but the best way to reach me is info, info at learned, LEARNED potential.com. And thank you so much. I'm happy to be here and look forward to connecting in the future.
Thank you so much, Gabriella.
Thank
I'm
you.
thankful that you were here. I am exhausted thinking about all of the work that you're tackling, but really appreciate the opportunity to remind our audience that we can work at the intersection of a variety of different priorities, that by working with a diverse vendor on issues relating to training and capacity building, we also can be supporting the work that you're doing around workforce diversity and talent pipeline, which is another one of our priorities. So
Awesome.
I'm making the commitment to follow up with you because we have actually just launched a workforce diversity collaborative that is focusing on talent pipeline issues. And
Awesome.
I think we could benefit from your engagement. So I will be following up. I have entered, of course, I've entered Gabriella's information into the chat box. I've also included the info email address she just referenced. And again, we'll be sharing all of your information with our audience as a follow-up to this conversation. And we're so thankful that you're here today.
Yes, and thank you so much. I appreciate that. Looking forward to talking soon.
Excellent. So we're going to move over to someone who is now no stranger to our audience because we had the benefit of hearing from her on our opening panel. Stephanie Locker from Lockerbie and Company, the floor is yours.
Hello again, my name is Stephanie Locker, and in addition to my role on the board at the New Jersey Pride Chamber of Commerce, I also own a management consulting firm. I'm the CEO of Lockerbie & Co. We're a global management consulting firm headquartered right here in Passaic, New Jersey. I started my firm in 2019 as a former Big 3, Big 4 consultant with the intention to create a diverse firm led by diverse individuals. We currently provide 4 core services, which are procurement with purpose, which includes ESG and supplier diversity programs, program management, change management, and post-merger integration. We currently hold 15 diversity certifications at the federal and state levels, which include LGBTBE, disability-owned, women-owned, small business, disadvantaged, and HubZone certifications. We're looking for new clients that are looking to create or transform an existing supplier diversity program, or if they're looking to reduce their costs. We know that as we go into a recession, a lot of our clients are looking to very much strategically look at their procurement opportunities, and we are there for you. So you can find more information on our website, which is letsgetstrategic.com, and I will put my email in the chat.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie, both for the work that you do, the free labor that you offer us to help us at the State Chamber really infuse the principles of DEI into our supplier diversity work. And I just want to give a shout out. I see through the audience a number of colleagues who are in our supplier diversity collaborative. And I see a couple people, they're nodding their head when I talk about Stephanie's expertise and how much we've benefited from your engagement and participation in the supplier diversity collaborative. So thank you for being here. We can attest to the expertise that you bring to the table. We've entered your information into the chat box. We encourage folks to reach out to you, and we will also share your information as part of our follow-up.
Thanks, Patricia.
Of course, thank you. And to round out this discussion area, we're going to go to Ann Picone from MarketSmith. Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Great to see some familiar faces on the screen today. I'm Ann Picone. I'm the Senior Director of Corporate Marketing at MarketSmith. We are a woman-owned certified agency. We've been in business over 23 years. We're located in Whippany, New Jersey, and we are full service. So we do everything from media planning, media buying, creative content development, everything from digital ads to TV commercials to radio. Some of our clients are very familiar to the New Jersey marketplace, like PSE&G, Brother International. We work on consumer products called Lovesac, Shark Ninja, as well as for the state of New Jersey. We're doing quite a bit of work for different initiatives that very much so could be life-saving, like COVID vaccines and things of that nature. So we are looking for clients who are in the market to purchase media, grow their business, learning to scale their business. Again, we are full service and we're ready and here to go. Thanks.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Now I feel like I'm going to be scanning the billboards and the ads that I see to see if I can see your trademark attached to it.
Yeah, well, we can't do that, however, but we do at many times we'll have 3 or 4 campaigns in market at the same time. So if you're driving down 287 or any of the other highways, you'll see some of our work. So thank you so much.
No, thank you for being here. I've entered your information into the chat box. We will
Appreciate
share
it.
it with our attendees afterwards, and thank you for being here.
Sure. Oh, I want to say that I'm also sitting on the advisory board of the Pride Chamber and happy to do that too. So
Excellent. Again, the intersections in the network strong in this room here today.
thanks,
So
everybody.
thank you. So we are actually running slightly ahead of schedule, which feels really unbelievable to me. This almost never happens. So I'm feeling good about this so far. We're going to transition into our next panel. Oh, actually, I see Brian has just joined the waiting room. I'm just going to take a moment and ask Rick and or Chris, could one of you message him and ask and advise that we're willing to put him into the following spotlight session? We're going to move forward with our agenda right now, but I don't want to miss an opportunity to hear from him and plug his business. We're going to move into our next panel discussion, which actually gives us an opportunity to have a virtual conversation with some of our colleagues in the State Chamber's Supplier Diversity Collaborative. So we launched this collaborative in February 2022. We now have a cohort of 30 participants, and we've been meeting monthly for the last 9 months. And during these discussions, our whole goal has been to learn from each other, discuss barriers and obstacles, brainstorm better options for supplier diversity initiatives, and helping us individually and collectively establish baseline data so we can generate goals, so that we can have metrics and report on our outcomes. So we're going to get started with our brief 20-minute conversation. I'm going to welcome Kathy Easton from Delta Dental, Nick Malafite from Master Search Solutions, Ebony Parham from Newmark Associates, and Neil Wildonger, my colleague at the State Chamber. Hello, good friends. It's so good to see you here.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hey. All right. So we're ahead of schedule, but that doesn't mean that we're going to take up more time, because I know time is everybody's money. We have a lot of small business owners in the room who I'm sure are going to be eager to expand their networks and do some email exchanges after this session. So we're going to just jump right in. And so we're going to start with a really basic question. Tell us a little bit about what you do and why you joined the Supplier Diversity Collaborative. And I'm going to start with Kathy.
So our president at Delta Dental is part of the New Jersey State Chamber Board, and he asked me and our CFO, Mike Rodriguez, to be part of this collaborative. And of course, we were thrilled to join. We have met some really awesome people and just getting a really good education on creating a good supplier diversity program. So we've been meeting pretty much monthly with Patricia and our team, and we're really happy to be part of it.
Thank you so much. Oh, and we're very happy to have you. You're one of our first sign-ons. And remember, I often talk about the collaborative, that it was a little bit like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what would stick. We had no idea whether or not this would be something that folks were interested in. And I think when I got the first 3 sign-ons, I was like celebrating at my chair, like, yeah, this is gonna be something. And now we're at 30, and it feels like a real thing. And we've realized that there is real power in just creating a safe space for vulnerable conversations and like helping each other through some challenging obstacles. So Nick, you're in an interesting role in that you actually help employers find employees. So your real focus is on workforce on the day-to-day, yet you've been an active participant in our Supplier Diversity Collaborative. So tell us a little bit about why you've joined.
Thank you, Patricia, and hi, everybody. Again, my name is Nick Malafite from Master Search Solutions. We are a direct hire recruiting firm. The primary driver behind the chamber was both self-education as well as education for my clients. So I've been in the recruiting industry here in New Jersey for nearly 30 years. I've got a pretty wide range of clients, and obviously, personally speaking, I've always been concerned. I'll define it, yes, DE&I, but just equity, giving everybody a fair share, at the opportunities that are out there, has really been what I've been all about. And then also for my clients, just educating them on why diversity is important and how it could positively impact their business.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Ebony, I feel like we are really close this week. I just had an opportunity to meet with you and your colleagues from across the country as you launched a really exciting initiative. You've been a helpful participant and contributor to our Supplier Diversity Collaborative. What prompted you to join on behalf of Newmark?
So for Newmark, Newmark is a woman-owned commercial real estate firm. I'm a commercial real estate broker, and the field of commercial real estate is very, very tightly knit, built on relationships. So supplier diversity, I feel, is really important to the professional service. This is a professional service in this area that could benefit a lot of people. I mean, we work with entrepreneurs, regional firms, and corporations who could benefit from it through our networks and our resources. So I figured that the collaborative was a great place to meet people, find out what their challenges were, if they matched ours, and how we could chart a path forward to get the business, basically.
Excellent. And we're thankful that you joined us. Your energy and the energy of your entire business is very contagious. I love being in community with you. Neil, my dear colleague at the State Chamber, tell us a little bit about what you do and why you are part of the collaborative.
So I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations and Cornerstone membership for the State Chamber. One of the reasons why I felt the need to join this was because as John Harmon and Tom Bracken have talked about, you can't just talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. So since February, I've listened to a lot of ideas on how we could expand our diverse vendors. It's been, it was kind of starting from scratch, as Patricia said, but, what we're trying to do right now, which is start with a baseline and then see where there's opportunities for diverse companies to join our vendor list.
Excellent. Thanks so much. And I will say, when we have internal meetings and discussions, Neil is almost always one of the first people to say, hey, this is an opportunity to diversify our vendors. So the work and the conversations that we've been having, the consistency of them feels really important, because it is a lot like the more you talk about it, the more you're thinking about it, and the more it becomes second nature to be identifying opportunities to create change. So let's talk about, we've been meeting regularly for now 9 months. I can't believe it's been 9 months already. What are some of the main takeaways you've gained from the collaborative so far? And I'll kick it to Ebony first today.
Well, I'd like to say firstly that there are some amazing diversely owned, minority, women-owned, LGBTQ-owned, disabled-owned businesses in the collaborative and throughout the state of New Jersey. So my takeaway has been that we all have something to offer, and that going forward, we just need to make sure that we support each other, and that we make sure that we make the connections that are necessary, and we share the information on how we had successes with connecting with supplier diversity partners or procurement partners in the firms that we're all reaching out to.
Excellent. Kathy, what do you think some of your main takeaways have been so far?
I was happy to find that some of the other corporations that are part of the collaborative don't have a formal diverse supplier program, as we don't either. Yes, we have diverse suppliers. We've had diverse suppliers for years. I could list them for you off the top of my head, but we don't have a real program that makes people aware that are buying things for Delta Dental to include diverse suppliers in the bid process. So by being part of this, it's really, I've met some awesome people, never ever knew that there were so many different sub-chambers and all of the different vendor lists that we can now have access to make it easier for ourselves to go out and find diverse suppliers. So, and that's really why I was so happy to join this, so that we can create a solid program and really go out there and reach out to more vendors instead of using the same vendors, time after time, year after year, bid after bid. We're going to make it part of our initiative to really help our senior team and people that are out looking for, things to purchase for Delta, to make it easier for them too. So it's been great so far. I really enjoyed our time together with this.
Thank you. And we've enjoyed having you. And I want to say, I think we also experience a sense of like, okay, we're not in this alone. We're figuring it out from the ground up. And it's been nice to be in community with people who are more seasoned and expert than we are. And there's no sort of shame in admitting where you're having, experiencing vulnerabilities or challenges. So I've been very thankful to have you as a colleague in the collaborative space. Neil, what about you?
I think that, it's the state of mind is that when, even with our events, not only with the vendors for our headquarters in Trenton, but when we have events and we have them in different parts of the state, to really reach out to the African American Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber, to look at, different vendors that they have as members so that we could kind of be more diverse and, not just going to the same vendors every time. It's really trying to expand it. I think that's really the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this.
Excellent. Nick?
Up until the past year, when I opened my firm, I had always worked for either certified minority owned or certified women owned businesses. I miss being able to tout that currently right now. But one thing that the collaborative, kind of has taught me is it's okay to start small. So I always thought that this was only going to be an endeavor for those really large corporations that could, and some of my clients that can throw, time and resources into the program. But realistically, it can start very small, even as small as, starting something with having on a position description that, we celebrate diversity, or, just starting small. Like, it doesn't take an army. You can do it as a person, as one, as a leader, as one, and then just try and impact the people around you, using what you've learned. So I think it's like the learning.
Thank you so much. And I think I really appreciate what you just mentioned. There are a number of participants of the collaborative who also identify as women or minority owned business leaders who have started thinking strategically, not only how do I promote my own business, but how can I restructure the opportunities I have within, my infrastructure to support other women or minority owned businesses. So whether it's identifying someone different to do my IT work or order my supplies, it's been a really interesting conversation and seeing how things are shifting from sort of a self-focused perspective to truly a collaborative one, where we're looking at ways to make any kind of small impact that we can. And a lot of us also have the added challenge of our largest investment is in our human resources and our human capital. So we aren't, a major corporation that's buying widgets. And so to your point, Nick, we may not be able to tip the scales in a way that seems overly significant from an access to capital or resource distribution perspective, but it will be significant based off of the way our procurement or infrastructure is established. So final question to round out this conversation, and I feel like you've all touched upon this a little bit, but do you feel more supported or prepared to engage in supplier diversity initiatives than you did before you joined the collaborative? I'll start with Nick.
100%. And, supported also for the people that I've met, and the ability to reach out to them with any questions that I might have, or even how it benefits other clients of mine and their efforts. So supportive in giving me the resources and the comfort level to reach out to people, to have the open discussion. 100% more supportive.
Great, thank you so much. Neil, it's kind of a catch-22 question for Neil, since I'm your colleague, but I'm going to ask you anyway, because I know that you'll be brutally honest.
No, I obviously, this initiative started a little over 2 years ago. The awkwardness of the beginning and kind of building the ability to speak about this makes it much easier to expand, speaking with somebody that pertains to diversity and supplier diversity. It's just one of those things that it's got to be part of your everyday pattern of looking for ways to have more people interacting in the process. So I certainly feel more supportive. Obviously, we're kind of driving this thing, so it's been very good.
And I just want to say, I feel more supported internally, Neil, by having you as a part of the collaborative. Obviously, I have the great privilege of organizing it and working with all of you, but knowing that my responsibility isn't both to sort of hold our feet to the fire internally and help organize externally, but rather that I have a colleague who is doing the work in operations to help us walk in alignment with our commitment here has been really important and valuable. And Kathy, I know you actually benefit similarly in that you have a colleague from your team who is also part of our collaborative. So do you feel more supported after having been a part of our discussions over the last 9 months?
Oh, definitely. And, I think, like I said before, to make it easier for corporations to know from all the different chambers, have a list of resources makes our job easier too, as a purchasing director, and for us to be able to build a program to roll out to other companies that don't have a formal diverse supplier program and say, hey, it's not that hard. Here's what we did. Here's a list of people you can reach out to. Incorporate it into your purchasing policies. Let your people know who are, reaching out to vendors on behalf of your company that they should, think about diverse suppliers. Take a look at, just like I said before, don't go after the same people over and over again. Try to expand your vendor list, and it would be easy for them. Once, if we can get bigger corporations involved and get more people involved and say, hey, we did some groundwork for you, incorporate this into your purchasing program too. So.
Excellent, thank you. And Ebony?
Yeah, so I definitely feel more supported. I've recently started a new role as a business development manager with CRESDA, which is the Commercial Real Estate Supplier Diversity Alliance. And so what we do is we partner with other commercial real estate suppliers nationwide to offer our services to, it's just a network of commercial real estate providers to offer our services in the areas. And so going back also from the collaborative to the Alliance, to the CRESDA Alliance, to talk about the incredible value that we all offer through our relationships, the innovation and the flexibility in customizing a product or service for clients, I think has definitely been beneficial to me in relaying that message, not just locally here, but also to my affiliates in CRESDA. So thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank all of you. Honestly, the conversations we've had over the last 9 months have been candid, informative, energizing. And so I appreciate the opportunity that we have had over the last 9 months to work together. We still have so much to do. And I'm so thankful that we were able to organize this entire event today to really help connect some of our colleagues who are committed to supplier diversity to some really amazing companies who are doing cool and innovative work that maybe we wouldn't have known about had we not actually met in person. I want to tap on just very quickly before we round out our discussion, some of the themes that have kind of popped up over the last 9 months to sort of plant the seed for consideration for our attendees who are with us today. We've had a lot of conversations around the value of certification. And to be honest, there are mixed feelings about certifications in that they are often expensive and time extensive and laborious, particularly for small or startup companies. So we've challenged ourselves to think about, as we create our own supplier diversity goals, do we feel that we require certification? Do we not? really have those internal discussions to determine how you identify a vendor as a diverse vendor. We've talked about the runaround that sometimes diverse companies get when they are looking for opportunities, and once they say they're a diverse vendor, they get routed to the DEI person who is often not connected to the procurement person. And that sort of consistent runaround where someone can check a box to say, I spoke to someone, but then it never actually lands in the acquisition of a bid or contract. And we've talked a lot about the opportunity we all have to create something different and more effective based off of all of this knowledge. And that I feel has been one of the greatest learning points in the collaborative, is the sense of freedom in knowing we don't have to recreate a wheel that oftentimes isn't working. We can actually create a better wheel. And we can create that by actually listening to the voices of people who have experiences around bias or discrimination in the procurement process, and then make sure we're creating policies or procedures internally that don't replicate those things. And so I want to thank you, Kathy, Nick, Ebony, Neil, the rest of our colleagues. I see so many of you in the top of the screen who are part of our collaborative for just engaging in these conversations so meaningfully over the last 9 months. We're going to have an opportunity to hear from a couple of you later on in our discussion, either as spotlights or one-on-ones, and I'm looking forward to that. And just thank you all of you who are part of the collaborative for being such great colleagues and making this work fun, while also making it impactful. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia.
Thank you. So we're going to transition now. We are still slightly ahead of schedule. I feel really good about that. We're going to transition now into a one-on-one conversation with Lorinda Thomas, who is the Senior Director of Global Procurement, Supplier Diversity and Sourcing at ADP. I had the opportunity last week, it was just 2 weeks ago, I don't know. I feel like we were fast friends.
Yes, absolutely.
So Lorinda and I connected because our colleagues have been talking about ways to partner, and they were probably like, oh my gosh, your colleague has to talk to my colleague because they're really into supplier diversity. And we got on a Zoom, and our two colleagues basically sat there while you and I were like this.
Exactly. Absolutely. And I'm so glad that we got to meet Patricia. Stephanie, I see you said hello in the chat. Thank you. So yes, you know, I've been engaging a lot with our diverse marketplace, and that is how we met Patricia through that introduction of the New Jersey Chamber of Commerce. And really, it's been important that I, you know, attend and engage and speak during a lot of those sessions, because, you know, ADP, we do sell products and services that are truly beneficial to many small and diverse businesses. But on the flip side of that, I also want to ensure that we're providing opportunities and helping a lot of these different organizations and chambers that our diverse marketplaces meeting with, help them understand how we can also be beneficial in other ways, whether it's informing different businesses about the ADP Supplier Diversity Program, what we purchase and what we do as well.
Well, I mean, I feel like I could just bump out and let you talk for 15 minutes. And honestly, I think we probably would all benefit from a much longer chat. So be ready for that invitation.
Absolutely.
But for now, what I'd love is I loved when you and I talked about the way you share your approach to supplier diversity, which I think is nurturing. It's not just about business. There's a mentorship component that you have taken a responsibility to bring to your role. And so I'd love for you to share a little bit about that with our audience.
Absolutely. So I'll start by just giving a little information about ADP. For anyone that may be joining today who is not familiar with ADP, Automatic Data Processing, we are a 70-plus-year-old company headquartered out of Roseland, New Jersey. And a lot of times I always say tell people we pay 1 in 6 Americans. We are a global organization, but we pay 1 in 6 Americans. So if nothing less, you've seen ADP at the top of your paycheck or pay stub throughout your career, whether you started working in high school through now. But we do so much more than payroll, and that's really what we're known for. But we actually are a global cloud-based human capital management solution provider, right? And that unites HR, as payroll, talent, time management, tax, and benefits administration. So it's all included in our platforms, which are really SaaS-based. We are a service organization. I have been with ADP going on 12 years now, sitting within our global procurement organization. And with that, I do manage sourcing, but a big part of my job is our supply diversity program. And that is what is the program that ensures that we provide opportunities to women, veteran, LGBTQ+ businesses, disabled, small businesses as well. It's really given them the opportunity to get included in ADP strategic sourcing and procurement process. It's important that we do share the responsibilities within our organization to ensure that we are allowing for opportunities for diverse businesses. I've heard a lot of conversation about trying to get into supplier diversity or get into working with corporations, but also what it takes to do that. Stephanie also made a great point. Since everything that's happened with George Floyd, I've seen probably a 50% increase in companies that actually now have more supply diversity initiatives. I was at an event back in June, and it was a program managers meeting for diverse suppliers, or actually subject matter experts. And I want to say 50% of the room was new, meaning they were working for a company that just started and developed a program. Again, Stephanie also pointed on the fact that there are a lot of corporations that now say they have a program, but are you really talking the talk and walking the walk, right? That 10%, there should be higher numbers than that. I am happy to say that normally on a year-to-year basis, ADP has a 14% increase year over year of our supplier diversity spend. And that actually was 14% for our last fiscal year. And we always teeter between 14 to 16% of our overall procurement spend being with diverse suppliers. And we're constantly looking at how to grow that. I drill down to even say our spend may be less with one particular group or ethnicity. How can we improve that? It really takes ensuring that we're not only working with our diversity, equity, and inclusion organization, but I'm working with my procurement counterparts, and I'm also working with our businesses, our stakeholders. That's where the opportunities really align. I always say that unfortunately, supply diversity will always be needed because there's always going to be that need to get an opportunity, get someone else a seat at the table. It's hard for non-diverse suppliers to get a call back or an opportunity to meet with procurement or stakeholders. It's twice as hard for a diverse business. So I am here to advocate, ensure that I can provide that support outside of that contract, because I cannot give a contract to everyone that I speak to or that walks through the door. That's where we kind of talked about the education, those other opportunities, right? We are a company that requires certification in order for you to be included in our diverse spend. Doesn't mean we won't work for you, but it's beneficial to me to ensure that you are certified. There are a lot of challenges. There's a lot of conversations, the time, the money. Sometimes you could be triple, dual, quadruple certified, right? And really it's the effort. And so outside of the chambers talking and the different certifying agencies, we know there needs to be changes. And believe me, the corporations feel just as strongly about that as the diverse and the small businesses as well. So, it goes back to what can I do? How can I support you? Whether it's mentorship, and a lot of it is just, what do you need to know? Sometimes coming in the door, you may not know that ADP has a high insurance liability limit that you have to align with in order to even sign a contract with us, right? Those are things that are beneficial to help you understand that that is important. And you may not necessarily be ready to do business with us yet, but how can you get to that next position? So we look at it from a different lens. Again, bottom line is the numbers do matter and they do count. But when I always present my information to our board of directors or our upper management, I always have a section called Beyond the Numbers, because that's where that interaction, that assistance, working with different chambers, working with different organizations really matters. It's a lot aligned with our community engagement as well, our business resource groups. We've been doing a lot more business around just aligning and ensuring that they understand what supply diversity is. So when they go out into our local communities where we have large offices, there's opportunities for those businesses to also interact and potentially work and do business with us.
I love all of that. And I feel like I was taking notes and there are so many nuggets that I want to follow up on. I want to say that one of the things I really hope our audience takes from our conversation today is, we are spotlighting a number of diverse business owners during today's event, and maybe they don't have a good or service that you currently need, but Lorinda reminds us that there's an opportunity to say to your colleagues, hey, I just met and saw a really great business owner make a pitch on an event.
Absolutely.
You should connect with them. So,
absolutely. Yeah, the supply diversity community is very close niche, right? And so we kind of run in the same circle. And there are many times, and I'll give you a prime example. I was at a conference back in Dallas maybe 2 months ago, and I was meeting with a colleague who is supply diversity for a pharmaceutical company out of New Jersey, who has a very strong supply diversity program. He introduced me to a supplier in the disabled space that they had not worked with necessarily, but brought them to my attention because he knew I had a need, right? So we do share that knowledge. We share that information. We have a group email, believe it or not, with some of the top retailers, financial companies, technology companies, where sometimes we'll just send the email, hey, do you have a diverse supplier that does this? And a lot of times I know if that recommendation comes from them, it's because they vetted that vendor or they've either worked with them. So we do help each other and we do work together. Definitely, it is a plus.
And I think that's also a ray of hope for diverse vendors who are feeling sometimes frustrated that they're not getting that bid or contract, in understanding that the network is strong and that if you make a good impression and you build relationships, even if it doesn't end in the execution of a contract with that person, they are likely to recommend and refer you to their colleagues because your name is your brand. So you're recommending people that have, that are good.
Yes, you are 100% correct about that, Patricia. And it's I understand and I hear the challenges a lot of times with diverse businesses who are certified, right? And I know a lot of the certifying agencies, really are 100% honest that just because you signed that piece of paper or you got that certification, it doesn't mean you're going to get business. It's really about those opportunities. It's about that growth, that development, the education you need. I also like to tell a lot of times different businesses that I meet with who may not be ready to work with corporations yet, that think about your colleagues, right? That B2B, just how you come to me. Let's say you're a marketing agency and you're trying to sell, marketing, advertisement campaigns, information to us. You could have a colleague that's, a business down the street that has the same needs, right? Working with those smaller businesses helps you grow and learn and develop and get you to that next level. And sometimes it takes a little longer, right? I've spoken to different businesses that, I've reached back out to 2 years later because that's how long it took to get an opportunity. You have to also realize, we're aligning with budgets, we're aligning with projects that are already currently in place. So when I do reach out to different businesses and stakeholders with ADP, I'm asking, what do you have coming up? What's in the pipeline? Even more importantly, do you have any money? And then the conversations happen when it aligns with, I know you've been using this vendor for 10 years. Doesn't mean they're the best vendor. Doesn't mean they're the most agile, the most efficient. And, I work in procurement. Our overall goal is to save money regardless. We're cheap. We want to get the best value and we want to ensure we get the best quality products and services. So that's really what it comes down to. So we want to find those opportunities and they may not happen overnight, but it's important that you don't call me every day, but you do stay in touch with me, right? you make me aware that you still want to work with me as ADP, you want to work with other corporations that I may know, and we'll continue that process. And, hopefully eventually we'll find an opportunity for you and we'll get you a foot in the door. For me, it's important that there's longevity too, right? I don't want a one and done deal. I want opportunities for you to continue to be in our procurement work stream, to continue to get opportunities for years and years to come. So it's really about that longevity, like I said, as well, and getting you those opportunities.
Agreed on all of that. And I really appreciate your approach and your passion for supporting diverse vendors and thinking strategically about how to leverage your own network in support of this shared goal. We're coming close to our time. Are there any little seeds that you'd like to leave planted for our audience, whether they be interested in diversifying their vendors or whether or not they are a diverse vendor themselves? Anything you'd like to add before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I think when you're looking at your own, supply chain based off of your needs of your business and what you buy, I get requests on a weekly basis from our proposal teams, from potential clients and existing clients that want to know, ADP, what is your spend with diverse suppliers? What are you doing, right? I do the same thing. I'm reaching out to our non-diverse, large corporations, say, I need you to report on your diversity numbers. What are you doing? So think about it from the perspective of, if I'm getting to ask those questions, you're also going to get ask those questions when you get opportunities to bid as well, right? So think about it. Where do you buy your office supplies? Where do you buy things that really help you with your business? And think about diversifying that, right? I know a lot of us go to one of the top name office supply vendors, but there are diverse office supply vendors as well. And if you need help finding those vendors, the New Jersey Chamber, the certifying agencies, there are a good first step to help you actually look for those. If you're looking to also start that program or just increase the amount of visibility, a lot of the things that we look at are, trying to set concrete and measurable goals, promote supplier diversity efforts initially with your own internal associates and your employees, measure the progress so you have accountability, and then really think about it. And this is what we do, or especially in the corporation side, eliminate those biases, right? What has been the problem, or what has been the reason why you wouldn't necessarily choose a diverse business over a non-diverse business, right? Again, it comes to thinking about the efficiency, what that vendor and what that supplier can do versus the one that you may already have in place, and give them the opportunity. And when it aligns with just, diverse vendors, and recommendations I have for you, networking is key. Network as much as possible. Use the chamber, use the certifying organizations, because I will be 100% honest, I get a lot of cold calls and I get a lot of emails every single day. It's really the connections I make via these type of events where I meet you, we have conversations, it leads to a follow-up conversation, and then I feel comfortable putting you in front of someone, right? The certification, again, is important because it tells me you've been vetted from some degree, that you're at least 51% owned and operated as a diverse business. And then also, like I said, too, just really align with your other B2Bs, your colleagues, to lean on them for assistance and support. We are here to help each other. And, Patricia, I definitely want to come back when you have your next event and we can spend more time so we can really kind of do a deep dive. I'm going to drop my information in the chat. I'm going to drop I'll try to drop a PDF. If not, I'll drop some information about what we buy and purchase. That's another big thing. Know who you're going out to. So many times, and I'll tell you, this is a funny story, that people approach me and they say, I know who ADT is. And I'm like, I'm not ADT, I'm ADP. But the funny thing about that is I've been working with ADP for 12 years, and that's what my mom tells people as far as that's where I work. So, understand and know, do your research. Our website under supply diversity tells you what products and services we buy. So if you sell something that I don't purchase, move on to the next corporation or the next business that does that. So again, I would love to come back. provide more information, more data, talk more about what we've done in the past as far as mentoring diverse suppliers, and just give some more detail to continue this. I know ADP works with a few of the other chambers that presented and we spoke to early. I would love the opportunity to work with all of you and just continue to help ensure the success, just because there are so many opportunities, especially in the state of New Jersey. And with all of us working together, we'll continue to ensure the success of all of the diverse businesses and continue to get them opportunities with, not only state and government agencies, but also our corporations as well.
Excellent. My new friend, I am so thankful for the time that you've spent with us today and for all the work that you do every day to help support businesses. I'm looking forward to our follow-up conversation. Thank you so much for offering to drop your contact info in the chat. We'll also share all of that as a follow-up for our audience. So I imagine that with your energy and intelligence, people are going to be inundating you with requests for information, but you are used to it because you are a pro.
I'm all for it. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Lorinda. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's so good to see you.
You too. Thank you again for inviting me.
Of course. All right. So you may not have seen her yet, but you have seen her active skills in the chat box for the time that we've been together today. Our next one-on-one conversation is going to be with Lily Sanchez Ruiz, who is the CEO of Educarte Language and Translation Solutions. She is showing us her skills while we're speaking, folks. That is better than a spotlight. She is actively at work showing what a brilliant transcreator she is. And I'm just so thankful, Lily, both honestly, just to make it real for a second, like your friendship, that you are honest and candid, and your whole goal is to hold us all accountable so that we do better. And I want to thank you because and Lily is a member of our Supplier Diversity Collaborative. And during one of our meetings recently, you really led us into a very thoughtful conversation around the challenges language access or lack thereof present for diverse business owners who are looking for opportunities. So I want to dig into that conversation, Lily, and I want to thank you for being here and for the work that you're doing in making our event today language accessible. And let's chat a little bit about why is that so important? Tell me what you're experiencing from your community's perspective.
Well, first and foremost, it is a great day for us, members of the different minority and diversified groups, not only in the state of New Jersey, but I am sure also in the United States of America and internationally, because I can see within the platform of today, a lot of friendly phrases within the state. Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to speak on our own behalf on your collaboratives. But at the same time, I am tremendously encouraged, and I understand the historic moment that this is, because I can see Jose Ramirez from the Essex Latino Chamber of Commerce, and I see Elvira Ramirez, and I see Carolina Canales, and I see all my friends from Newark and our powerful African-American women from our real estate and construction business. But I also see people that are joining us from even farther away. I see our entrepreneurs that are Peruvian, from the Peruvian chambers, and Ecuadorians. I see Enrique Mignan and Jessica Herrera, which is the first time ever that I actually enter into this virtual collaborative, because they believe that there is a legitimate intention to address diversity and inclusion and tackle it down so that we can create and pose questions that are going to be meaningful to the entrepreneurial transaction in the state of New Jersey. So for me, it's tremendously historic and important to let you know that we feel very important to be included in this conversation. And the fact that you all have enabled with your participation and your questions and your opinions has enabled us to also take a very good look at what we are not doing as chambers, as members, as entrepreneurs that sometimes are isolated because of a cultural barrier or a language barrier and remain within our corners. And with this, I can tell you that, as an entrepreneur myself, I always kept navigating into the international arena because I've worked in 24 different countries. Educarte, my company, and I also have an all-women construction company in the state of New Jersey. does services outside and does services within the state and within the United States, but always within the communities that are like international and speak other languages. I never saw the need to be, I was a member of the New Jersey Chamber, but never as active as this year, for example. So what was the need of participating? I already have a captivated clientele. My business is doing fairly well. What will be the need? Well, the need is the very same need that I believe that all your companies, dear friends that are not Latino or non-minority have, that we enrich, and this has been enriching for me when I decided to participate in the conversation. And thank you, Patricia, because your leadership and your wisdom and your, I tell you, you've been very courageous to be able to like look at diversity and difference on the face and say, we can enrich ourselves and potentiate ourselves and our businesses by including everybody in the conversation and by talking to each other honestly. And the honest truth is that this collaborative and the Supplier Diversity Collaborative has been talking for 9 months about the things that sometimes we're not doing okay. Not only the companies that are trying to diversify, but also those of us who consider ourselves groups of, diversified groups that have kept ourselves isolated because we already have like a specific customized market where we like advertise our products. So what is the necessity of this? That New Jersey is ready for a greater participation because we talk about diversity and inclusion, but the reality is that transferring it from the imaginary to the tangible has been a difficulty. And participating in this collaborative, we brought this conversation to the more real realm so that we can pose questions and solutions. What is one of the biggest challenges? Language. Why language? Because although we want to participate, the truth is that Dr. Daniel Casasanto, which is the top authority in linguistics, says that although you can speak 3 languages, and I speak 3 languages, I speak Portuguese, Spanish, and English, okay? Although you speak in 3 languages, you understand your metaphoric cognitive processes and you take your decisions and your identity in your primary original language. So for those of you who are with your companies and your initiatives of diversifying, I know that you're doing it in English, and I know that you think that we're listening to you, and we are, because we might have an accent, but we speak your language, trust me. And especially when it comes down to the commercial language, we speak money better than anybody else, and we've done it anciently for thousands of years. Our Incas, Mapuches, Aztecas, Mayan communities were famous for their trading abilities. Trust me, we understood economics way before United States was created. Yet, we speak your language. But quite honestly, when it refers to promoting your products and your services and your policies and accessing this list of diverse suppliers and accessing to the products and services that we offer, it is important that it's done in the primary language of who's gonna acquire the service. That is the reason why, Patricia, I am so thankful to you that you brought up this discussion to the spectrum of transcreation, because I know that many of us want to put a word in Spanish and we think that by saying hola, una cerveza por favor is all we owe to the commercial transaction, and it is not it. Transcreation, as you know, is the ability to be able to translate, but being cognizant of the cultural context for the person that is going to receive the message without losing the intention, the mood, the essence of the message that wants to be conveyed. And that's what we've done with Educarte. We try to be not only translators, but we've tried to do transcreation so that your companies, your policies, the narrative that you're using is actually culturally appropriate for the people that speaks English, but rather understand it in a more profound way in their primary language.
Oh, I couldn't unmute fast enough. Yes, no, thank you. And thank you also for Ed. I think what you just said is something that I had missed an opportunity to share, but translation is the most basic thing that we can do, but it's not equitable. And we also do ourselves a disservice. And we know this happens so frequently. As Lily, you know, my background is really working in the nonprofit space before I came to the chamber. And specifically, I actually spent a long time working for a national Latina health focused organization. And one of our greatest challenges was working with well-intentioned partners who said, oh, I have someone on staff who speaks Spanish. I'm just going to have them translate this flyer. But as we know, the cultural nuances between a Cuban American in Miami and a Puerto Rican in New Jersey, the translation is not the same as the contextualizing of the information. And it can be, in this case, when we're talking about businesses, a matter of getting that bid or contract or not. And if you don't get that contract, then it could be a matter of whether or not your business stays open or you have food on your table. And so it's so important that we think about how do we truly make our work accessible. And I will acknowledge we have a long way to go, but I'm very thankful for your friendship and your partnership in helping us move our needle forward, even if it's incrementally, so that we can encourage others, like we've been doing with the collaborative, to be vulnerable and to acknowledge our shortcomings, but to make good efforts to do things more strategically. I want to give you an opportunity, Lily, to be in the spotlight, to tell us about your business, to talk about the work that you do at Educarte and how that could be beneficial for other partners here who are thinking about how to make their work more language accessible as they think about supplier diversity. So it is all yours.
So much, Patricia, and I certainly appreciate your friendship and as I said before, your leadership. It is because you're a sensitive woman that has understand the richness of the differences, and that we've discovered together that we can actually help each other do this a more fair land field for everybody, that we're collaborating, and sometimes we've done it in very heated conversations where we had to tackle down our own sensitivities. That is truth. But rather than talk about my company, by the way, my company is a company that does language solutions and does higher education solutions. It does transcreation, but also does videos and can translate your website and can add language components and expertise components in other languages. It works in 24 different countries. And I can spend the rest of the minutes talking about my company. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna actually leave you my website so that you can visit it and actually visit it, because I think that today is historic and it's bigger than us. It's bigger than you, Patricia, it's bigger than the collaborative, and it's certainly bigger than Educarte. So Educarte Global, I'm putting the information in here so whomever wants to do, they can access that information. But I'm gonna speak to all of those companies that are right now in attendance, and especially to those who also serve in the different chambers and also serve in different legislative bodies that have this decision-making processes. We understand that you're sensitive towards diversity and inclusion, but we also understand that cultural awareness is born in language, because our language is intimately related to our identity and who we are and how do we feel about ourselves. So it's not enough, and we know this. I know this because sometimes when I don't post in Spanish or Portuguese, although I also speak English, my Spanish and Portuguese audience, although they understand English, expect me to do it also in Spanish and Portuguese, okay? I understand your great intentions, and we certainly feel acknowledged every time that you talk about diversity and inclusion. Especially, we are encouraged about the fact that we're trying to create this new list of diversity suppliers. This new list, finally, we're gonna be able to participate of these selling products and selling services. But if you tell us that you believe in diversity and inclusion, and you don't include a language that is familiar to us, what you're doing is really saying it, but not making it real. By transcreating some of your contents, by facilitating forms. The other day, I was speaking about a very important grant in the state of New Jersey. Not a single leaflet was done in Spanish, and it was intended for Latin American audiences. So I thought, okay, it is not sufficient that you create laws, that you create policies within your organizations to encourage diversity and inclusion. It will not become real until you don't take a step to make our diversity visible and tangible in your bodies. And the best way that you can do it is by trying to utilize language. You don't have to do it on your website. Sometimes it could be an application. Sometimes it could be a word. Sometimes it could be a button that says, translate this page in these many languages. That's all it needs. Now, it's not the ideal. you, Patricia, know that translating is not the same thing that transcreating. Translating is literally translating a word for the equivalency in any other language. That might not necessarily express the meaning. And I'm going to use a very funny example that I always use when I lecture for transcreation. Many decades ago, there was a very famous airline that did a commercial spot that said, fly in leather, because their feature was that you travel in first class in real leather seats, and it was really comfortable and wonderful. And then they then hired a translator and translated the commercial for the rest of the world, including Latin America. And then translated literally travel in leather, which is viaja en cueros, except that in Spanish, en cueros could mean travel naked or travel with somebody of a reputable, situation. So imagine what happened. I mean, now, if we revise this, the translation was correctly done literally. But transcreating is understanding the cultural values of the person that is going to hear, read, and receive your message. And sometimes there is when the division comes. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've gone to official bodies of some of your websites and some of your places, and I found a bit of insulting terms because we have not been able to connect with somebody that is a professional on the translation field, that it is also an expert on the specialty that you're trying to advertise, and is conveying the meaning of the essence of your message. That's what transcreation does. So I encourage everybody and their bodies and your representations that although we are tremendously encouraged that you're including us, unless you don't make it real, at least within the language, denying language means denying identity. And we're not trying to change anybody's identity. Understand, Casasanto says that our identity is based on our primary language. If your language is English, even if you learn or put some Spanish or Portuguese or French, trust me, your identity is not going to magically change. The nature of your business and your commercial transaction is not going to mutate, but it's going to internationalize your business and open it to new markets that are desperately waiting to receive that open door. That's what we need. So I hope, if anything, that this conversation about translation also brings a little bit of more sensitivity towards cultural awareness, but bringing it from the imaginary, that is our metaphoric interpretation of what we want with diversity and inclusion, and bringing it to the real, taking tangible steps, such as, for example, doing a small transcreation in your pages, or just doing a form that we can actually fill out on our own language so that we can feel included in the transaction.
Thank you so much, Lily, for the gift of your friendship, for the expertise that you bring to our conversations, for the trust that you've given all of us in the collaborative by being vulnerable and candid. I know that we are better professionals because we have the opportunity to partner with you and learn from you. And I encourage all of us who are here today to take these words to heart and to also be mindful that there are opportunities for us to work together, that we're not going to go from an English-only platform to a platform that is transcreated into all of the wonderful, beautiful languages that make New Jersey so great overnight. But perhaps there are opportunities for us to partner. Perhaps there are opportunities for us if we're creating a forum where our feedback can be received in multiple languages. Is there some kind of collaborative that we could put together that can share the responsibility of helping to transcreate that content so that we can actually read it as we're considering bids and services? There's a lot of opportunity to be creative here. And this is, I think, really an important call to action, to not just think about who is in your network, but how do you honor the identities and the humanity of the people that we're looking to bring into our network so that it's not just a financial transaction, but one that actually transforms the business landscape. And Lily, you've really continued to remind us of the power and the opportunity that's before us today.
Thank you so much. And this certainly transcends into Spanish speaking, French speaking, Creole speaking, and other speakers like our friends in the Indian chamber to be able to access contracts and to be able to like participate on contracts or bids that we cannot because sometimes a language barrier, but also it has to do with the fact that the United States has 10 million jobs and only 6 million accredited professionals that can do the job. But we have a human resource pool within the United States of specialists that speak other languages that are coming to terms with their English, but that we can use if we use language in a more commercial, more thorough way. And I believe that we can open up opportunities. So I'm actually pleading for them, for those professionals that need to be accredited and for those languages that need to be included so that we can really participate tangibly in all these processes and all these bids. We also want to be, providers, so, like diversity suppliers, but you need to talk in our language too, if possible. It's not a requirement, but my God, what a sign of respect and inclusion.
Yep. Well, thank you, my friend, for joining us today. We appreciate you. I am sure there will be plenty of people following up with you after this. We'll be sure to share your contact information. Everyone, a round of applause for Lily and Lorinda for taking our one-on-one conversations and for sharing some great information with us. We're going to move on now to spotlighting some more diverse businesses. As we did in the earlier part of the conversation, we're going to remove me from the spotlight so that all of your focus can be on individuals who have innovative goods and services they'd like to share with you. And we're going to start with Iori Digital LLC. I see you there. We're going to put Ms. Salas in the spotlight and we're going to let you steal the show.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I joined a little bit late, but I had the pleasure to listen to all of you. And I love what Lorinda said and even what Lily, talking about diversity and how important it is. And I really have to say this, throughout, I would say the last 2 years, I've been to multiple panels where people talk about diversity, but like this, nobody has been able to like touch the points that you guys have touched. And for that, I'm very, very thankful. So yes, I just wanted to start with that, definitely. My name is Marjorie Salas. I am the CEO and founder of Iori. We are a full-service marketing and advertising agency. We service the East Coast. I have clients all over Pennsylvania, New York, Virginia, Florida. And it's very interesting. They're all in the private sector. This time around, the reason why I'm here, it's because I have submitted multiple bids in the past, but I have never been lucky to be awarded with one. I'm actually trying different things right now, as far as, I am the crazy one that will go to a town hall meeting to present my business, just to go after the opportunity. Even, as a marketer, I believe that 7 no's lead to a yes. And, I am on no number, like, I don't even know, I lost count, but I will continue to be persistent to follow until I get the contract. I'm in the process of learning from other people that have done it. And, I do review the RFPs, but again, I think it's also part of what Lily mentioned is that correct me if I'm wrong, the translation, right? That we need to be able to communicate better and to understand the needs of the bid. And it's like, how do I read this corporate lingo to be translated into a marketing, advertising, or even public relations? Because I've straight up read bids that say, oh, the bid is for marketing, but it ends up being for something that it has absolutely nothing to do with marketing. So it's part of making the linguistics more accessible, more understanding, and also more public, so small businesses like myself are able to find them, because that alone, to find those bids it's a bit difficult, but here I am. I will not quit, and I am very thankful for this panel and all the information that you guys have provided. Once again, Ivory Digital is a full service marketing agency. We do anything from photography, advertising, commercial video production. So we are here for you. And if you have any questions, I would love to connect with you. I would love to see if we can find a way of how we can benefit from one another. I am here for all of you. So please, if you have any questions or I can help, any of your small businesses, don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I know I've taken way too long, but thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Marjorie. We are excited to have heard from you. I've left your information about your business in the chat box. We will be sure to share that with all of our attendees as a follow-up. I encourage you to reach out to Marjorie to explore opportunities to work together. And we're going to turn the spotlight on to Shanna from Modat Video. Shanna is also a member of our Supplier Diversity Collaborative. It's so good to see you, my friend, and the spotlight is yours.
Well, hi y'all. Thanks a lot. This is great. I have to say, I need to admit, Lily, my own bias about language. I wasn't even aware of it until you brought this up. And I was like, my God, transcreate is a wonderful word. We use video, and we just did a TV show that is relevant to actually Puerto Rico and some of South America because it's for the Coast Guard. And I am now going to talk to you about transcribing that or creating that show because it hadn't even occurred to me. And so thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. Anyway, my name is Shannon Scott. My wife and I, we're content creators. We do video, almost anything but weddings or funerals. We come from broadcast. So our credentials are that we work with Al Roker. We've done branded content for IKEA, Condé Nast. We've done the Oscar coverage. We've done concerts from giant stadiums. So we've done really big stuff, but we also do little stuff. Like we've also done HR videos for our local YWCA. We do whiteboards for the PGA. We've done employee profiles, initiative spotlights, how-to videos, proof of concepts, just about anything. And we're happy to send samples to anybody. The nice thing is it's just my wife and I. So we have low overhead. We're not two guys in Dockers with video cameras running around saying we're a production company. We're not. We create. We help ad agencies actually execute things. We help marketing agencies execute things. We help mid-level companies create video that they can't afford. Like if you go to an ad agency, they're gonna, the bill is huge. You can come to us and we help you actually script and all that kind of stuff. So that's it. We just bring, your ideas to fruition. We basically ask you how much you've got, who do you want to talk to and what do you want to say? And that's it. So I'm happy to answer any questions and talk to you guys later. I really appreciate it, Patricia. Thanks.
Of course, thank you. I have entered your information into the chat box. I'm thankful that you were with us today. And I'm thankful that we've gotten an opportunity to know each other through the Supplier Diversity Collaborative. And I encourage our colleagues to reach out and get some cool content created. It'll be awesome. So we're going to turn things over and shine the spotlight on Brian Grant. Are you with us? Hello, sir. Nice to meet you. The spotlight's on you.
Yes, I am. Thanks, Patricia. Really appreciate it. So my name is Brian Grant. I'm the principal with Grant Engineering and Construction Group. We provide civil engineering, land surveying, construction management, and construction inspection services, primarily to public clients, but we have provided it to private clients. We're based in Newark, New Jersey, and most of our work is in North and Central Jersey. We work primarily for municipalities as well as county governments. And we just got recently approved for our GSA contract for the federal government. Another area where we work geographically is we work actually in the Virgin Islands. I was actually stuck down there this weekend, where we provide similar services to private and the government entities in the US Virgin Islands. We've been in business since 2012. We're a 20-person firm. as I said, most of our work and most of the work we chase after is public work. And what we're trying to do as members of the African American Chamber of Commerce is to really expand our private portfolio into commercial site development, institutional site development, such as churches and other nonprofit organizations, which is why, when the African American Chamber kind of reached out to us, I was really excited to come in, learn more about the organization, because quite frankly, we don't know much about the organization, and see, if we have some opportunities to grow our business. So if someone has a few acres of land that they want to develop, we'd be happy to speak with you. Our website is www.grantecg, that's E as in engineering, C as in construction, G as in grant.com. Our phone number is 973-358-5020. That's in Newark. And my email address is bgrant, B-G-R-A-N-T, @grantecg.com. But yeah, we would love to learn more about the organization, and look forward to the opportunity to do business with each other, amongst the diverse businesses that are on the call, as well as to do business with the larger entities that are looking at site development or other opportunities. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being here. There are a lot of hot conversations happening right now about the need to start building out our portfolio and our network of engineers as infrastructure dollars are coming down the pike from the feds. So this is a good time for us to put a spotlight on your company. I've entered your contact information into the chat, and we'll share it as a follow-up with everyone. But Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks, Patricia. And one last thing, and Rick gave me a list. So Rick, I'm trying to adhere to your list, because as engineers, we love checklists. The one thing I forgot is we also certified DBE for New York, New Jersey, several other states, as well as we're certified minority business, small business, so in both New York, New Jersey, and some other states as well. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to turn the spotlight on to Elvira Ramirez from Press T Designs, LLC. Did I pronounce the name of the company the right way?
Yes, kind of. Yeah, you said it right, yes.
Welcome, the spotlight is on you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thanks also to the panel for great information. And well, yeah, yes, my name is Elvira Ramirez from Press T Designs, which is a DTG printing company for apparel and custom uniforms. We registered in the year of 2021, and we've been in business for nearly 2 years already. So we are mostly located in Lawrenceville, New Jersey, Mercer County. What my business do is print on promotional fabric items only. We specialize on printing promotional t-shirts for special events or small businesses uniforms. We also we have a website, which is presstdesigns.com, and if anyone is looking to promote their business through fabric promotional items, can reach my email, which is elvira@presstdesigns.com. And my phone number, it's also 609-527-3660. We are certified as a small business enterprise and minority women business enterprise as well. We are also member of the LGBT chamber, and looking forward to get our certification soon. So yeah, but it's good to connect with all of you, and hopefully we can speak soon in person as well, and future networking events. Thanks for the opportunity.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being here. I've entered the contact information for your business into the chat box, and we will share that as a follow-up with everyone. We have come to the conclusion of our agenda. Believe it or not, we are 15, actually, let's not undercount it. We are 17 minutes ahead of schedule. It feels believable with such an ambitious agenda and so much great expertise that was shared while we were together today. I want to again thank our sponsors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Deloitte, and TD Bank for their support. I want to thank you, Lily, for offering transcreation services both prior, during, and after this event. Thank you for helping to make our event accessible. I want to remind everyone that today's event has been recorded and we'll be sharing out a recording afterwards. And I want to thank all of our guests for sharing their expertise, perspectives, and for the diverse businesses that took an opportunity to be put into the spotlight. I do hope that our friends and colleagues who joined us today take an opportunity to reach out and extend their network and perhaps find opportunities to work together and share some access to resources. I also want to remind everyone that we have just launched the nominations for the 2022 Chamber Forward DEI Trailblazer Awards. Self-nominations are being accepted in 6 categories: board diversity, workforce diversity, access to capital, corporate citizenship, supplier diversity, and emerging leader in the DEI space. So I'll send a link to the nomination form your way as a follow-up to this conversation as well. I want to thank my colleagues, Rick Principato and Chris Lewicki, for supporting the back-end tech of this event. There were a lot of moving parts and you all helped it move smoothly and effortlessly. And again, thank you all for being here and engaging in such meaningful conversation. I feel very privileged to be in community with all of you and feel like New Jersey is moving in the right direction if we're all focusing on these issues relating to equity. So enjoy the rest of your day. It was very good to see you all and take care. We'll be in touch soon.